My name is Janet Birckhead. I am the Adult Services Librarian at the Long Branch Free Public Library. Come see me if you are searching for information or looking for a reference or nonfiction book. Today, I want to introduce you to the 19th century Black abolitionist Frederick Douglass by telling you about 3 books from the library's collection I recently read about him. I will take these books in the order of the events they cover. The first is Frederick Douglass and the 4th of July by James Colaiaco. Colaiaco states Frederick Douglass was the most famous black person of the 19th century. Douglass was invited by a white abolitionist group to give a speech on July 5, 1852. This speech has become known by the title, What to the Slave is the 4th of July? Colaiaco focuses on this speech, of which he gives the main points, but he also discusses Douglass's growth as an orator and writer and the changes in his thinking about the best way to get rid of slavery. Readers will learn how much oratory, or the art of public speaking, was valued in the 19th century. Colaiaco describes a division in the abolitionist movement and explains how and why Douglass moved from one faction to the other. He also addresses 3 other controversies which are as current today as they were in Douglass's time. The first is whether the U.S. Constitution supported slavery or promoted freedom. Second is whether a person seeking to understand the Constitution should take the text at face value or look in historical documents for the framers' intent. The third concerns the freedman's statue that was erected at the end of the Civil War. Although the focus is on Douglass, Colaiaco also writes about John Brown's raid at Harper's Ferry, the Dred Scott decision, and other events that slowly but surely pushed the United States towards civil war. This book is well written and very informative. I found the section on how to interpret the Constitution fascinating. The second book is The President and the Freedom Fighter, Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, and Their Battle to Save America's Soul by Brian Kilmeade. Kilmeade begins by recounting the biographies of Lincoln and Douglass in alternating sections of the first 4 chapters, and in the process reveals just how much the 2 men had in common. In the remaining chapters, Kilmeade covers Lincoln's political career, Douglass's increasing popularity as an orator, the historical events that accelerated the country's march towards civil war, and the conduct of that war. Kilmeade describes the meeting in which Douglass lobbied the president for equal pay for black Union soldiers. This meeting led to others. Lincoln came to speak of Douglass as a friend and to listen to his advice. As an admirer of both Lincoln and Douglass, I found this book easy to read and hard to put down. The third book is The Failed Promise, Reconstruction, Frederick Douglass, and the Impeachment of Andrew Johnson by Robert S. Levine. Beginning with Lincoln's second inaugural address, Levine writes about Lincoln's re-election and assassination and the presidency of Andrew Johnson. He explains why Johnson was originally considered a good choice for vice president, despite the fact that he was a Southerner, before discussing the different ideas about how to treat the states of the Confederacy held by Johnson, the radical Republicans in Congress, and abolitionists like Douglass. Levine discusses Johnson's delusion about himself as somehow the savior of the black race, and paints him as a man easily driven to anger. The more criticism from Douglass or the radical Republicans he received, the less open to hearing a different opinion Johnson became. In The Failed Promise, Levine makes clear the reasons why Johnson was the first president to be impeached. This book filled in gaps in my understanding of the period of American history known as Reconstruction. I did, however, frequently have to go back a few pages to refresh my memory as to who a particular cabinet member of Congress, or abolitionist was. Very informative. The Long Branch Free Public Library is celebrating Frederick Douglass Day on February 14th this year. There will be a documentary showing at 2 p.m. and a special presentation by Dr. Christopher DeRosa from Monmouth University at 6:30 p.m. the same day. Please stop by the circulation desk to pick up a flyer about these programs and to obtain a Zoom link in case you wish to attend the evening program virtually.